Good afternoon. This is Arlo Johnson speaking to you from Vernon, British Columbia, May the 21st at 3:45 p.m. I hope you're all well. We're getting a little bit of thunderstorm activity around here. Have a little rain, goes away, comes back in the afternoon, another little thunderstorm. Seems to be rolling around one after another. It's not that cold or anything, it's fairly warm. I had to turn the air conditioning on here just a minute ago. Anyway, I waited to do this little video, and I'll make a podcast out of it. And basically, the question is the difference between the 6-day creation in the Bible and the creation of Adam. What's the difference? You know, I've thought about that for years, and I've actually brought it up to ministers and preachers, and they all seem to want to avoid that for some reason. They won't acknowledge that. And I tell them, look, I said, I don't know how you can not acknowledge it, the difference, when it's different, when the Bible is absolutely plain about it, that it's two separate events. There's not just one event. And each event is different in the way it's done. One starts with the animals first, the other starts with the man first. So I'm going to delve into that a little bit today. Now the thing is, I'm going to just hold here for a second. I'm going to go and see if I can go back to yes, here. And basically I'm looking here at this website. Genesis 1:26. God said, "Let us make men under our shadow as representatives, and subject them to the fish of the waters, birds of the sky, and the quadrupeds, as well as the whole of the earth, and every reptile that creeps upon it." So God created men under his own shadow, creating them in the shadow of God and constituting them male and female. Now, different Bible say it's a little different. This one is that way, I don't know. But anyway, now Genesis 2:7, the ever-living God afterwards formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils perception of life, but man became a life-containing soul. The ever-living God then took man and placed him in the Garden of Eden for the purpose of cultivating and taking care of it. And the Lord God instructed the man, saying, "For food you may eat of the whole of the trees of the garden." These are now two separate instances of creation. And they are, totally different. I mean, the chapter 1, they are created male and female at the same time. They were simply created human and mortal. They are told to multiply. Mankind was given dominion over animals and fish. The animals were wild animals, and the plants were wild plants. No names were given. There was yet no rain. For this, the creation was completed. All the various races, men, women alike, were created. Then, in Genesis chapter 2, Adam alone is formed. Formed is the Hebrew word 335, I don't know what they mean by that. In Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. Adam is formed sometime before Eve. She later became being made from him. Adam was given the breath of life and became a living soul. Adam would have lived forever had he not fallen. Ask yourself also, as in whom else? For that he is also flesh. No such command given to Adam and Eve. Adam's family was told to multiply after the flood. Noah's family was told. Adam was a farmer. They were domestic animals and crop plants. Adam named them, and a mist went up from the earth. But after that, Jehovah saw that he did not have a man to till the ground. So Jehovah then formed Adam. In Genesis 1, the plants and the animals were created before man was created. In Genesis 2, the plants and the animals were formed after Adam was formed. Now, the thing is, this is what makes me wonder about this, and it's been a big question to me all the time. The reason, one of the reasons I've always thought about it is that I've lived and worked on a reserve for the last 34 years. Now, I've been watching them and talking to them and being around them for 34 years. I mean, I can't hardly tell the difference between them. They are pretty close, but they are different. There is definitely a difference. And the difference is they still would prefer to make a living by hunting and fishing, if the truth is known. The government has changed that. But, how many years did the Indians roam North America? Thousands of years. They really didn't possess the land, they occupied it from one place to another. They warred between themselves, but they didn't possess or develop the land. They didn't really build roads, and they didn't really, very few tribes built buildings. There were some tribes, some places that did build eventually some buildings, but that was most likely towards the end, but not early. Now, you see, how people take this is they say, well, you're being racist if you say they're different. The problem is they are different. And I believe they are all from the six-day creation. All aboriginals, all around the world. And I don't say that in a bad way, because I know that God says he does not respect persons. He's not going to, say that me or you are better than the Indians. I don't believe that at all. But they are different. You can't deny it. And the reason they're different is they were created when the races were black, red, yellow, and white. And the thing is, God rested after he created the male and female. Now, how long did he rest? Is he still resting? I mean, if he rested a day, that's 1,000 years to us. And then he said he didn't have anyone to till the land. And that's pretty near true till this day. We're building houses and stuff on the reserve on perfectly good farmland. They don't want to farm it. The government gives them money, they don't want to farm it. There's some farming, but very few are the ones that have the land. They'd rather just collect rent. Percentage rent from a development. Can't blame them for that, I guess. But the difference is Adam was formed and set. He was formed from the dust of the ground, clay, dirt, whatever, I don't know what they meant. But anyway, the difference is he was formed and set. I am quite of the opinion that me and you are the same right today as Adam was then. I don't think that's changed. I believe that the 6-day creation people are created, and there is a certain amount of change that can go on there. Not total evolution, but they can, you know, over years, all these different people, a black race, and, I mean, in Africa, there are people 7 feet tall, tribes 7 feet tall, living next door to tribes that are 3.5 feet tall. And the reason for that is that there was no intermarriage. The white race basically has screwed that up. And, you know, I don't believe that God ever, you know, decided that, well, that intermarriage was good. I think he says that it's not. He used to stay with your own race and not pollute or dissolve your race till it's not your race anymore. Now, there's so many things that happen here that explain things. They explain Adam and Eve. It explains, you know, the whole business of aboriginals. And one of the problems is that the races were most likely all created within a short period of time. I think it could have been in a matter of 50 or 100 years. And God did it. And God, this is God's world. The physical part is God's world. It's not, God is not running this world. He's not in charge of this world. Satan is. He was given over. Adam fell from his right of rulership of the world by sinning against God, and let his wife talk him into eating the fruit or the tree of good and evil. And that causes the problem. That's what's going on today in a big way. It's getting worse and worse. People are deciding on their own what is right, what is wrong. And if you don't agree with them, you're ostracized. And they don't seem to realize that they are not capable of making laws. And if you say anything against it, you're an outcast, you're a troublemaker, you are, you know, whatever. But anyway, enough of that. But there is 2 creations in the Bible. When Cain was driven out for killing Abel, he said he took a wife and whatever. Then they turn around and say, well, he married one of his sisters. Well, that's not right, because there was all kinds of women where he went to. He went to the land of Nod, it says. And there was most likely a lot of people in the world besides Adam and Eve when they were formed. You know, God does things so hard for us to understand sometimes, but he explains everyone. There's nothing that he hasn't done that he hasn't actually explained, and had people explain it through his prophets, through whatever. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave it there, because to me it's answers a lot of questions about things, and it seems to be the right answer, because I didn't make it up, I didn't dream it up, I just read it right in the Bible exactly like I said to you. I didn't add or take away a word. But being people think they know better than God, they don't want to talk about it. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say today, and if you have any comments on it, fine. And I thank you very much for listening, and if you care to subscribe, that would be great. I would like that very much. Anyway, God bless you, and goodbye.